A Pittsburgh police officer dies after he was shot off duty. Tonight, police are still looking for his killer, and an entire community is in disbelief.
He only be there to help people.
We're learning how his brothers and sisters in blue are honoring him, and we're discovering what his life meant to the people he served and the folks he worked with.
And he's going to be well missed in our community.
A very, very difficult day, not only for the Pittsburgh Police Department, but for the communities inside and outside the city served by Officer Calvin Hall.
And right now, the Pittsburgh Police Chief, Scott Schubert, is about to speak about what is going to be happening here.
And it goes out to the community because we're all suffering with what happened. Officer Hall, Calvin, got into this profession, got onto the Pittsburgh Police to make a difference. And I can tell you, he made a difference with us, he made a difference with the community, and he made a difference in his life. And what I would ask is you please give us some time to grieve, to give the family time to grieve, and let us conduct this investigation. Any violence in the city of Pittsburgh is not acceptable, and we're actively investigating every one of them. And I just want everybody to please say a prayer for Calvin and for his family. And that's all I have to say right now.
On behalf of public safety and the mayor, our hearts go out to the family and the law enforcement community. As the chief mentioned, I was at Officer Hall's graduation 2 years ago, and you remember the smile. And then, of course, with the Northview Heights Public Safety Center, I mean, the interaction that he had during that time and during the time that he was there is just unbelievable. We've come a long way in Northview Heights, mainly because of Officer Hall and Sergeant Lewis and his officers up there. The officers, they're on the street daily. I mean, they're working every crime. I mean, this one especially hits home to us, and we will give it our best, not only for this homicide, but all acts of violence within the city. It's just a terrible tragedy, another senseless, violent act. And I would encourage the community, if you see an officer, please thank them. I mean, whether they're an officer while they're on duty or off duty, they're still an officer, and they're trying to protect us on a daily basis. So as the chief mentioned, please, respect the family and give them time to grieve. Thank you. Commander.
I had the pleasure of being Officer Calvin Hall's commander, and one of the things I get to do with all the new officers that show up at Zone 1 is to have a conversation with them and ask them, why do you want to be a police officer? And Calvin never hesitated. His response was, I want to make a difference in my community. And that's always something I want to hear. And throughout his career, he requested to be part of the Northview Heights police officer unit. And we gave him a tryout, and not only did he do well, he thrived. And he'll be sorely missed by his fellow officers and the people of that community. He definitely made a difference.
To be able to only say a few words about such a great man is very difficult. Calvin exemplified what we are as police officers. Not only was he a member of the community of the police, he was also a member of the community of the city of Pittsburgh. He was a phenomenal person, a true guardian. He loved this job, loved to be in the community, loved to just walk around and show his smile and smile at everybody he did. Every day in the station, every day at work, was happy to be here, was happy every single day at work. Truly a great man.
Obviously, I can't get into the specific details of the investigation so we can protect the integrity of the investigation. But what I can tell you is that we're receiving a lot of cooperation from the community, citizens, businesses, and we're receiving a lot of information and evidence at a rapid pace. And the net is definitely closing, and it's closing fast. I'm proud of our officers, our detectives that are out there working. They're working hard as they work on every single case. And I'm confident that we will come to a resolution on this case. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. If you all need name spellings of the various people, so obviously we know Scott Schubert, S-C-H-U-B-E-R-T. We all know the direct.
All right, well, that was very encouraging to hear that they are getting a lot of cooperation from the community, sounding very confident that they will be able to solve this crime and find out who actually killed Officer Calvin Hall.
Yes, indeed, Peggy. You just heard from the police chief, Scott Schubert, Wendell Histrick, who's the public safety director, the commander of Zone 1, and a couple of other gentlemen. And what you heard there was the feeling that they all had for this man, that they had great respect for him, that he loved his job, he loved working with people, making this an even greater tragedy.
Yeah, really sounds like he was just one heck of a guy and somebody who was beloved not only by the people with whom he worked, but also the people who he served.
Yes, indeed. And so the investigation continues. They asked to give the family and police a chance to grieve and conduct the investigation and say a prayer for everyone involved. And we spent the day learning more details about Officer Hall and his duties on the police force.
Yeah, he worked in Northview Heights. That is an area that has seen its share of crime, but neighbors telling us that Officer Hall was welcome there and really stood out in the community. Channel 11's Gabriella DeLuca is live at the medical examiner's office. That is where the body of Officer Hall will end up. Gabriella, you went there after spending time in Northview Heights. Folks there taking his death pretty hard.
Peggy and David, this is where that procession for Officer Hall will end, here at the medical examiner's office. But before my photographer and I came here, we went out into the community, and they are mourning this afternoon.
He only be there to help people and save lives. Now he's gone.
Brenda Jones is the vice president of Northview Heights Citizen Council. It's the community where Pittsburgh police officer Calvin Hall spent most of his workday for the last 2 years, patrolling, getting to know families, and working out of the safety center. Today, Pittsburgh police announced he died after someone shot him over the weekend in Homewood.
I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that what happened, because I know he was a great guy.
Pittsburgh police tell Channel 11 Hall was assigned to Northview Heights in part because of his ability to relate to others. The police chief said in a statement he was known for his quick smile, ever optimistic attitude, and for his career-long focus on community policing.
He talked to a lot of kids, and a lot of kids asked him how he got to be a police officer. And they say when they grow up, that's what they want to be.
But now she and the rest of her community are trying to comprehend Officer Hall's death and realizing that they won't see him in the neighborhood anymore.
Anyone that's in need of help, he would be right there to help them. And that's what I'm going to miss.
She told me that she and her neighbors are awaiting funeral arrangements so they can try to hope to go and honor him. Reporting live in Pittsburgh, Gabriella DeLuca, Channel 11 News.
All right, Gabriella, thank you so much. Now, as we've said, the police are still looking for the person who shot and killed Officer Calvin Hall there in Homewood.
They say they do consider his death a homicide. Channel 11's Damani Lewis joins us live in the studio. I'm sorry, instead we're going to go to our Aaron Martin, who is live for us. Aaron?
Peggy and David, yeah, we're actually right outside where the procession is about to begin here in Oakland, just outside of UPMC Presbyterian. I want to quickly show you what we're looking at right now. You can see there are a lot of Pittsburgh police cruisers that are lined up that are going to be part of this procession, which is going to end up going all the way down to the Strip District before wrapping up at the medical examiner's office. Now, we just heard a few minutes ago from Pittsburgh Police Chief Scott Schubert, as well as Public Safety Director Wendell Histrick. All had nothing but the best things to say about Officer Calvin Hall. In fact, we heard heard Chief Schubert in particular choke up talking about what a good person he was, somebody who always had a smile on his face. I've been covering this story for the last couple of days. I've been speaking to people who knew him, who he served in Northview Heights, and they always said the same thing. He was always happy to help. He would do anything you needed him to do, and he was approachable, and he wanted to help his community. We heard the same thing from Pittsburgh Police just a few minutes ago about how he wanted to become a police officer to help out. And even though he was only with Pittsburgh Police for 2 years before that serving in Braddock, he did so with a smile on his face, and he made an impact even in that short amount of time. It's the words that we've heard over and over again, and it's what makes his death so difficult for those who knew him best. Of course, we're going to follow this procession, which is expected to begin here in the next few minutes. We were told that the public safety officials were going to go back up to begin it in the hospital before it comes back out. We'll follow it along every step of the way for you as this happens. For now, we're live in Oakland. Aaron Martin, Channel 11 News.
All right, Aaron, thank you very much.
And now we will go to our Damani Lewis. Police are still looking for the person who shot and killed Officer Calvin Hall, and they do consider his death a homicide, but
this investigation,
it's tough.
Peggy and David, just getting underway, but as you can imagine right now, police really focusing on the family of Officer Hall right now, but the investigation into the gunman, finding that person, again, well underway tonight.
Pittsburgh police continue to look for answers and the person responsible for shooting and killing 2-year off-duty Pittsburgh police officer Calvin Hall. The police chief releasing a statement this afternoon telling Channel 11, "We are investigating the strong possibility based on gathered evidence that Officer Hall, who was off-duty, was in fact acting under the color of the law when he was fatally shot." Eyewitnesses tell Channel 11 on Sunday Hall was trying to break up an argument between people right here on Monticello Street. It was then moments later Hall was shot 3 times in the back.
Once everybody started dispersing, because I thought it was over with, then you heard 4 gunshots.
Witnesses tell Channel 11 Hall was visiting family members.
Once I told him that somebody was waving a gun at me, he came back. But I didn't know he was coming back.
Police this evening remaining tight-lipped on where their investigation stands in finding the gunman responsible in Officer Hall's death.
And right now, David and Peggy, police tell us that they are trying to maintain the integrity of this investigation, but information slowly coming out. But we do know just in the last few minutes, as you've heard, that the net is closing and closing fast. They just said that moments ago.
Well, that's some good news. And Damani, we heard in the news conference just moments ago the feeling that the superior officers, the ranking officers had for him, and the officer had for the place where he worked. Tell me about the mood in the neighborhood.
Well, I tell you, I went back to the neighborhood this afternoon just for a few moments, and it was eerily quiet in that neighborhood. Obviously, many people in that community know Officer Hall very well. Many of them still shocked about the latest developments and his unfortunate death.
Not surprising. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. We understand the procession of the officer. His body is about to begin. This is at the Presbyterian. In the meantime, flags being lowered to half-staff in honor of Officer Hall here at Pittsburgh Police Headquarters. And there you can see a live look from Chopper 11. This is going from Presbyterian, Peggy, to the medical examiner's office.
Via the busway, that's right. And obviously we assume there will be an autopsy at the medical examiner's office. But what we do know is that Officer Hall was shot 3 times in the back early Sunday morning, apparently trying to get people to calm down. He had been to a friend's house for a party, and some kind of neighborhood argument broke out, and we understand that he was just trying to get people to quiet down and not, nothing to escalate further, and boy, did it ever.
And we heard in a statement from Chief Schubert that in doing that, he was acting, while he was in fact off duty, he was acting in his role as a police officer. So in that respect, he was in the line of duty because he no doubt identified himself. And as you said, he was trying to break up a fight and ended up being shot himself very, very tragically. You're looking live pictures from Chopper 11 as the body of Officer Hall is being taken from Presbyterian Hospital, UPMC Presby, to the medical examiner's office in the Strip District. They, as Peggy said, they're going to take the busway to get there. It's not a very far distance, even if you take surface streets, but this shouldn't take very long.
And Channel 11's Renee Wallace is there. And Renee, this is one of many tributes that will come in the next few days.
Yeah, Peg, David, the tributes are all starting right now outside of police headquarters. Take a look. The city's coat of arms flag and our nation's flag were lowered to half-staff, and we are told will remain at half-staff through Officer Hall's funeral. Now, Chief Schubert said Officer Hall will receive full burial honors. That is a huge tribute. Said this entire bureau is in mourning tonight. For 3 days, he fought to overcome devastating injuries, but this morning, Pittsburgh police officer Calvin Hall lost that fight. Reaction from the Pittsburgh community he protected was immediate.
I send up my heart out to the whole family, give my condolences. I feel so bad that that happened to him.
Pittsburgh Police Chief Scott Schubert called Officer Hall a model officer who had a quick smile and a career-long focus on community policing. Reaction to Officer Hall's passing at Pittsburgh Police Headquarters was swift. We saw lots of activity, homicide and undercover detectives stepping up their investigation into Officer Hall's murder, which took place on Monticello Street early Sunday morning while Officer Hall was off duty. Mayor Bill Petuto offered this. On behalf of all residents of the city of Pittsburgh, I want to express my deepest condolences to the family, friends and co-workers of Officer Hall, a man who was deeply committed to his public service to the community. The coming days will once again be difficult ones for our city as we come together to mourn in pain and sadness. And it would seem right now this investigation here at headquarters is kicked into another gear. We've seen several people being brought in, no one in custody yet, but we have seen lots of folks being brought into headquarters tonight. Now we are waiting for the announcement of just how the city plans to handle this fallen officer's funeral. As soon as we know how they plan to conduct it, we will bring it to you on air and online. Reporting live at Pittsburgh Police Headquarters tonight, I'm Renee Wallace, Channel 11 News.
Okay, Renee, thanks so much. We just got this map in of the procession route that will go from Oakland, UPMC Presby, onto the Pat busway down into the Strip District to the medical examiner's office.
And David, as I was watching that procession, I thought, how many of these have we covered in our almost 30 years together? And just some statistics here. Pittsburgh police have had 89 officers line of duty deaths. And most recently, it was the 3 officers who were killed in Stanton Heights. And if you look at our region as a whole, Officer Calvin Hall is the 8th officer from Western Pennsylvania killed just since 2015. That's too many. And it doesn't matter how many times you see these processions, never gets easier.
No, and you make a good point. It is too many.
Way too many.
It's very, very sad. Well, once the procession starts, we will follow it for you. It's continuing. I should say it's going now. In the meantime, stay with Channel 11 News for continuing coverage of this big breaking story.
Yeah, we will have full coverage for you of Officer Hall, of his past, and much more on the investigation into his murder over on our website at WPXI.com. And of course, we'll continue to break in with live updates as they come in.